While I was watching a movie with my fiancée on her phone, a voice message suddenly started playing on its own. Last night was amazing at the party. Come again next Sunday, we'll enjoy it. She immediately started shouting, "It's not what you think." But when I looked at the screen and saw the name, everything became clear. I didn't say another word. I just walked away. Later, her best friend called me and revealed a truth so shocking that it completely changed how I saw everything. I'm 29 years old, and up until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had my life figured out. My fiancée Natasha and I had been together for 4 years, engaged for 6 months, and we were supposed to get married in August. We lived in a modest apartment downtown, split the bills 50-50, and spent most weekends doing normal couple things, cooking together, binge-watching shows, arguing about whose turn it was to do laundry. That Saturday night, we were curled up on the couch with takeout from our favorite Thai place. Natasha's phone was propped up on the coffee table because my laptop was dead, and we were watching some documentary about deep-sea creatures. I wasn't really paying attention, just enjoying the comfortable silence, her head resting on my shoulder, the smell of pad thai still lingering in the air. Then her phone screen lit up with a notification. Before either of us could react, a voice message started playing automatically. The voice was male, smooth, a little too confident. Last night was amazing at the party. Come again next Sunday, we'll enjoy it. The room went cold. I felt Natasha's entire body tense against mine. It's not what you think, she screamed, lunging for the phone. But I'd already seen the name on the screen, Cameron. Her boss. The guy she'd mentioned exactly twice in 4 years, both times saying he was fine and professional. I didn't say anything. I just stood up, grabbed my jacket from the back of the chair, and walked toward the door. "Ben, please wait." She was following me, her voice cracking. "Let me explain." I turned to look at her once. Her face was pale, eyes wide with panic. "You know what? I don't think I need to hear it right now." I left. Stayed at my friend Joel's place that night. Ignored 14 calls and 23 texts from Natasha. Joel didn't ask questions, just handed me a beer and put on a basketball game. The background to all this is that Natasha had been acting differently for about 2 months. Not in obvious ways, nothing I could put my finger on. She'd started going to networking events on weekday evenings, coming home around 10 or 11. She'd mentioned them casually over breakfast. "Oh, industry mixer tonight, might be home late." I never questioned it. Why would I? We trusted each other. Or at least I thought we did. There were other small things. New lingerie that she said was just for herself. Taking her phone to the bathroom when she showered. Laughing at texts, and then quickly putting her phone face down when I walked into the room. But I'd convinced myself I was being paranoid. That's what happens when you love someone. You give them the benefit of the doubt, even when that doubt starts eating away at you. Sunday morning, I woke up on Joel's couch with a stiff neck and 17 new messages. Most were from Natasha. One was from her best friend, Lily. "Ben, please call me. There's something you need to know. It's not what you think, but it's also worse than you think. Please." I stared at that message for a long time. Worse than I think. How could it possibly be worse? I called Lily at noon. She answered on the first ring. "Ben, thank God. Are you somewhere private?" "I'm at Joel's. He's out getting groceries." "What's going on, Lily?" There was a long pause. I could hear her breathing, like she was trying to figure out how to start. "Natasha didn't cheat on you," she said finally. "Then what was that voice message?" "That's what I need to explain. But you're not going to like it. At all. Just tell me." Another pause. Then, "Cameron is her brother." I actually laughed. "What?" "No, he's not. Her brother's name is Jason. He lives in Seattle with his wife and kid." "That's what she told you," Lily said quietly. "But it's not true. Cameron is her older brother. He's been in and out of rehab for the past 8 years. Drug addiction, mainly painkillers and cocaine. He's been clean for about 6 months now, which is the longest he's managed in years." My brain couldn't process this. Why would she lie about having a brother? Because she was ashamed. Her family is complicated, Ben. Her dad was an alcoholic who died when she was 16. Cameron started using drugs in college, and it destroyed him. Destroyed their whole family, really. Natasha has spent thousands of dollars trying to help him. She's paid for rehab 3 times. She's bailed him out of jail twice. She's lied to her friends, to her mom, to everyone, because admitting Cameron exists meant admitting that her family isn't the perfect, put-together image she wanted everyone to see. She's been lying to me for 4 years about having a brother? Yes. And the networking events? Those were NA meetings. She's been going with him, supporting him through his recovery. The party he mentioned in the voice message was his 6-month sobriety celebration. She didn't want to tell you because she thought you'd judge her family. Judge him. She thought you'd leave her if you knew the truth. I sat down hard on Joel's couch. My hands were shaking. There's no Jason in Seattle? There is, but he's her cousin. She lied about him being her brother to fill the gap. Why are you telling me this? Because Natasha is falling apart. She's been crying nonstop since you left. She wanted to tell you so many times, Ben. But the longer she waited, the harder it got. And now she thinks she's lost you over something that isn't even what you think it is. But it's still a lie, Lily. For years of lying. I know. And I'm not excusing it. I'm giving you context. What you do with that is up to you. I hung up. Sat there in silence. Joel came back 20 minutes later, took one look at my face, and asked if I needed something stronger than coffee. I went to see Natasha that evening. She opened the door looking like she hadn't slept. Her eyes were red and swollen. Her hair was a mess, and she was wearing the same clothes from Saturday night. Can I come in? I asked. She nodded, stepping aside. We sat at the kitchen table, the same table where we'd eaten countless meals together, where I'd proposed to her with a ring I'd saved 8 months to afford. Lily told you, she said. It wasn't a question. Yeah. I'm sorry. Her voice was barely above a whisper. I'm so sorry, Ben. I should have told you from the beginning. Why didn't you? She wiped her eyes with the sleeve of her sweater. Because I was scared. My whole life, people have defined me by Cameron's problems. In high school, I was the girl with the junkie brother. In college, I was the one whose family is a mess. When I met you, I finally had a chance to just be me. Not Cameron's sister. Not the girl who has to cancel plans because her brother overdosed again. Just Natasha. And I liked being that person with you. I liked not having to explain or apologize or carry that weight. But I'm supposed to be your partner. You should have trusted me. I know. Her voice broke. I know, and I hate myself for it. Every single day, I wanted to tell you. But the longer I waited, the worse it got. How do you suddenly admit you've been lying for years? How do you say, oh, by the way, remember that brother I said I have in Seattle? He's fake. My real brother is a recovering addict I've been secretly supporting? You could have told me when we got engaged. I almost did. I had this whole speech planned. But then you were so happy, and your family was so happy, and I couldn't ruin it. I thought maybe I could just keep it separate. Keep you and Cameron in different parts of my life. That's not how relationships work, Natasha. I know that now. We sat in silence for what felt like an hour, but was probably only a few minutes. What's Cameron like? I asked finally. She looked up, surprised. He's a good person underneath everything. Funny. Smart. He used to play guitar. He taught me how to ride a bike. When he's clean, he's the best version of himself. But addiction took that person away for a long time. The voice message, he was just excited. He's been doing so well. That party was a huge milestone for him, and he wanted me there. He wanted to share it with someone who's been through all the worst parts with him. Do you want me to meet him? What? Cameron. Do you want me to meet him? Tears started streaming down her face. You do that. I don't know what I'm doing yet, Natasha. But if we're going to have any chance of fixing this, I need to understand your life. Your real life. Not the edited version you've been showing me. She nodded, wiping her face again. He's actually really nervous about meeting you. He knows I've been lying, and he feels guilty about it. We met Cameron for coffee 3 days later. He was tall, with the same dark eyes as Natasha, but there was a weariness to him that made him look older than his 32 years. He shook my hand and immediately apologized. I'm really sorry, man. I told Tasha 100 times she should just come clean. But she was scared. She's always trying to protect me, even when it makes her life harder. She said you're 6 months clean. I said, yeah, longest I've managed in almost a decade. It's weird, being on the other side of it. Actually remembering conversations. Showing up when I say I will. Tasha's been my rock through all of it. She's the only family member who didn't give up on me. We talked for 2 hours. Cameron told me about his addiction, his recovery, the meetings Natasha had been attending with him. He was honest in a way that was almost uncomfortable. No sugarcoating, no excuses. Just raw truth about the darkest parts of his life. If you're wondering whether you can trust her, Cameron said as we were leaving, you can. She lied about me because she loves me. She thought protecting me meant protecting you from the mess I've made. That's just who she is. She takes care of people, even when it costs her. The next few weeks were hard. I moved back into our apartment, but things felt fragile. We started couples counseling, which Natasha had suggested. Our therapist, a woman named Dr. Singh, helped us work through the broken trust. Natasha, I need you to understand that Ben isn't angry because you have a brother with addiction issues, Dr. Singh said during our third session. He's hurt because you didn't trust him enough to share that part of your life. I know, Natasha said quietly. I thought I was protecting both of us, but I was really just avoiding my own shame. And Ben, Dr. Singh turned to me. I need you to consider whether Natasha's lie was an act of malice or an act of fear. That doesn't excuse it, but it matters for how you move forward. I thought about that a lot. The truth was, Natasha had lied out of fear. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of being defined by trauma she didn't create. That didn't make it okay, but it made it understandable. Update 1. A month later, Natasha organized a family dinner. Just the four of us. Me, her, Cameron, and her mom, Patricia. It was the first time I'd met her mother, and I finally understood where Natasha's fear came from. Patricia was kind, but clearly exhausted, worn down by years of crisis management. Over lasagna and garlic bread, she told stories about Cameron as a kid, the guitar recitals, the science fair projects, the dreams he'd had before everything fell apart. I'm proud of who he's becoming again, Patricia said, squeezing Cameron's hand. And I'm grateful to Natasha for never giving up on him when the rest of us wanted to. Cameron looked down at his plate, and I saw something in his expression that reminded me of Natasha, that same desperate need to be seen as more than your worst moments. After dinner, Natasha and I took a walk around her mom's neighborhood. It was late May, warm enough that people were sitting on their porches, and kids were still playing in the street despite the fading light. Thank you for coming tonight, she said. I know it's been a lot. It has been, but I'm glad I know now. Are we going to be okay? She asked, and there was so much vulnerability in her voice that my chest ached. I don't know yet, but I think we might be. Update 2. We postponed the wedding. Not canceled, postponed. Natasha suggested it, actually. She said she didn't want to get married until we'd rebuilt the trust between us, and I respected that. Cameron stayed clean. He got a job at a landscaping company, started playing guitar again, even started dating someone he met at a meeting. Natasha was cautiously optimistic, and I learned to be too. The therapy helped. We learned how to talk to each other differently, how to be vulnerable without being defensive. Natasha stopped hiding her phone and started telling me about her day, the real version, including when Cameron was struggling or when she was stressed about him. I learned to ask questions instead of making assumptions, to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. 3 months after the voice message incident, we were having breakfast on a Sunday morning when Natasha suddenly put down her coffee and looked at me seriously. I need to tell you something. My stomach dropped. What? There's one more thing I haven't been completely honest about. Natasha, it's not bad. Well, it might be bad depending on how you feel about it. But I promised myself no more secrets. She took a deep breath. I've been putting aside money for the past 2 years. About $800 a month. It's in a separate account that I opened before we got engaged. Okay, it's an emergency fund. In case Cameron relapses and needs help. In case he needs rehab again or gets in legal trouble or loses his job. I need to know that money is there so I can help him without it destroying our finances. But I should have told you about it. It's our money, and I was hiding it. I processed this. $800 a month for 2 years. That was nearly $20,000. Are you still putting money into it? Yes. Does Cameron know about it? No. And I prefer to keep it that way. I don't want him to feel like I'm just waiting for him to fail. I thought about it for a long time. The old me, the me from 3 months ago, would have been furious. But the me sitting at that table understood that Natasha's relationship with Cameron was complicated, forged in trauma and guilt and love that didn't know how to quit. I appreciate you telling me, I said finally. And I think having an emergency fund is smart. But from now on, we decide together how much goes into it, and when we use it. Deal. Her eyes filled with tears. Deal. That was the turning point. Not the big dramatic confession or the family dinner or even the therapy. It was that quiet Sunday morning when Natasha chose honesty over hiding, when I chose understanding over anger. We rescheduled the wedding for next April. Smaller than we'd originally planned, just family and close friends. Cameron is going to walk Natasha down the aisle because their dad can't. I asked him if he was up for it, and he cried and said yes. Last week, Natasha and I were back on that same couch where everything had fallen apart, watching another documentary. Her phone was on the coffee table again, but this time when it buzzed with a text from Cameron, she picked it up and showed me. 2 years clean today. Thanks for believing in me. She texted back a heart emoji and then turned to me. You know what's crazy? I spent so long thinking that telling you about Cameron would ruin everything. But hiding him is what almost ruined everything. Yeah, I said. Turns out honesty is pretty important in relationships. She laughed. That real laugh I hadn't heard enough of lately. Who knew? I'm not going to pretend everything is perfect now. Trust takes time to rebuild, and there are still moments when I wonder what else I don't know, when I question whether I can really rely on her. But those moments are getting fewer and farther between. The truth is, everyone carries something. Some people carry addiction, some carry trauma, some carry secrets they think are too ugly to share. Natasha carried the weight of a brother she loved but couldn't save, and she carried it alone because she didn't think anyone else would understand. I'm glad she finally let me help her carry it. And I'm glad I stayed long enough to learn that sometimes the worst betrayals aren't about malice, they're about fear. Fear of being seen fully and being found unworthy. We're getting there, though. One honest conversation at a time, one difficult truth at a time. And honestly, that voice message that almost ended us might have been the best thing that ever happened to our relationship. Because now I know all of her, not just the parts she thought I could handle. And I'm still here. That has to mean something.